Good afternoon. I welcome the participants to a session on strategic management. Today, the discussion will be on the area of internal environment analysis. As a brief introduction to this area, internal environment analysis is a critical component of the strategic management that focuses on evaluating an organization internal factors as well as resources. It involves assessing the internal strengths and weaknesses to gain insights into the organization's capabilities and competitive advantage. Here are some of the key points to highlight when discussing the introduction to internal environmental analysis. By definition, internal environment analysis, it refers to the process of examining and evaluating an organization's internal factors, including its resources, capabilities, and core competencies. It helps to identify the strengths and weaknesses that can influence the organization's performance and competitiveness. With respect to its purpose, the primary purpose of internal environment analysis is to understand the organization's internal dynamics and uncover the key areas where it has a competitive advantage or face the challenges. It enables organizations to identify their core competencies and accordingly allocate the resources effectively to achieve the strategic goals that is set. Elements of the internal environment includes the various components such as the organization's human resources, the organization structure, organization culture, financial resources, technology, reputation, and intellectual property. Analyzing these elements provides insights into the organization's capabilities as well as the potential areas for improvement. If we discuss about the SWOT analysis, it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It helps to identify the organization's internal strengths and weaknesses, as well as external opportunities and threats. The SWOT analysis enables the organizations to align their strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, and accordingly prepare for their potential threats. Identifying the strengths, internal environment analysis helps to identify an organization's strengths, which are its distinctive competencies or advantages over competitors. These strengths could be in the form of specialized knowledge, unique resources, strong brand reputation, or superior customer service. Leveraging these strengths can provide competitive edge over others in the marketplace. With respect to assessment of the weaknesses, the internal environment analysis also helps identify an organization's weaknesses or areas of vulnerability. These weaknesses could be outdated technology, lack of skilled workforce, inefficient processes, or maybe in the form of poor financial health. Recognizing weaknesses allows organizations to develop the strategies to overcome them and improve the overall performance of the organization. With respect to the allocation of resources, By analyzing the internal environment, organizations gain insights into the allocation of their resources. It helps them to identify the areas where resources can be organized or reallocated in order to maximize the efficiency and effectiveness. Proper resource allocation based on the internal capabilities can lead to improved competitiveness as well as performance. With respect to the strategic decision making, internal environment analysis plays a crucial role in strategic decision making. It provides the decision makers with a comprehensive understanding of the organization's internal strengths as well as the weaknesses, allowing them to make informed choices and decisions about the future strategies, future investments, and allocation of resources. With respect to the concept of continuous improvement process, internal environment analysis is an ongoing process that helps organizations to identify the areas for continuous improvement. By regularly evaluating the internal factors, organizations can adapt to the changing market conditions, enhance their capabilities, and stay competitive in the long run. If you see with respect to the integration with the external environment analysis, internal environment analysis should be complemented by an analysis of the external environment. While internal analysis focuses on the organization's internal factors, the external analysis considers the factors such as the market trends, competition, and regulatory environment. Integrating internal and external analysis, it provides a holistic overall view of the organization's strategic positions. If you see with respect to the core competencies, internal environment analysis helps organizations to identify their core competencies, that is their strength areas, which are unique capabilities that gives them a competitive advantage in the marketplace. These competencies can be in the areas such as technology, research and development, customer service, or supply chain management. Understanding core competencies allows the organizations to focus their resources as well as efforts on the area where they excel. With respect to the organization culture, internal environment analysis involves assessing the organization's culture and how it influences its operations as well as the performance. Organizational culture encompasses the shared value, the belief, the norms, practices, reward system, share, shaping the employee behavior and the decision making. Analyzing the organizational culture helps to identify if it aligns with the strategic goals and if any cultural changes are needed in order to support the desired outcomes. With respect to the human resources, the internal environment includes an evaluation of the organization's human resources, such as the skills, knowledge, experience, and motivation of its employees. Assessing the workforce helps to identify the talent gaps, the training needs, and succession planning requirements. Understanding the capabilities and limitations of the workforce is very crucial for effective planning of the resources and also utilization and strategic decision making by the top management. With respect to the financial resources, internal environment analysis involves an examination of the organization financial resources, including its revenue, profitability, cash flow, and financial stability. Assessing the financial health helps to determine if the organization has sufficient resources to support its strategic objectives and investments. It also highlights any financial constraints that may impact the decision making or require the external funding support. If you discuss with respect to the organizational structure, analyzing the internal environment, it involves evaluating the organization's structure, the setup, the hierarchical structure, and how it impacts the communication, the decision making, as well as the flow of information from top to down as well as from bottom to top, upward or downward manner. The structure should align with the strategic goals and support efficient operations. Identifying any structural inefficiencies or barriers to collaboration, it allows organizations to make necessary changes or adjustment in order to enhance the agility and responsiveness. With respect to technology and innovation, the internal environment analysis includes an assessment of the organization's technological capabilities and its ability to innovate. This involves evaluating the technology, infrastructure, research and development capabilities, intellectual property, and the organization's track record in introducing the new products as well as services. Understanding the technological landscape, it helps organizations to identify the opportunities to carry out the innovation and competitive differentiation. With respect to the reputation and brand image, the internal environment analysis considers the organization's reputation and brand image, assessing the perception of the organization among its stakeholders, that includes the customers, employees, investors, public, and the vendors supplying the raw material, the advisors or the consultants, helps to understand its competitive position. A strong reputation and positive brand image can be valuable and intangible assets that contribute to the customer loyalty, trust, as well as market success. With respect to the performance metrics, the internal environment analysis involves reviewing the key performance metrics and indicators to assess the organization's past as well as the current performance. This includes the financial metrics, that is the revenue growth, the profitability or the profit margins, operational metrics, that includes the productivity, efficiency, etc., and customer metrics, that includes satisfaction, retention, etc. And analyzing the performance metrics helps to identify the areas of success and areas that needs for further improvement. With respect to the benchmarking, internal environment analysis often involves benchmarking against the industry peers or the best practices by comparing the performances, processes, capabilities, services with competitors or the industry leaders. Organizations can gain insights into the relative strengths and weaknesses. Benchmarking provides a basis for setting the performance targets, identifying the improvement opportunities, and learning from the successful practices. With respect to the ethical considerations, internal environment analysis should also consider the ethical considerations and organizational values. Evaluating the ethical climate within the organization that helps to ensure that the decision making and the actions of the management align with the ethical standards, ethical values, and legal requirements. It is essential to assess and find out whether the organization's values are upheld and embedded in the internal practices and operations. In concluding, internal environment analysis is a crucial step in strategic management. It helps organizations to identify their strengths, weaknesses, and resource capabilities, enabling them to make the informed decisions, leverage their advantages, and improve the overall performance in a competitive business landscape with the presence of number of market players in the industry. By considering these additional points in internal environment analysis, organizations can gain a comprehensive understanding of their internal landscape, enabling them to leverage the strengths, address their weaknesses, and align their resources and capabilities for gaining strategic success. With respect to the resource-based view model, the managers that take decisions based on the resources and capabilities to gain the competitive advantage. Organization can assess or develop the resources to formulate and execute strategies to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of the overall working. Resources that include the tangible resource, intangible resource, core competencies, capabilities, organizational process, technical know-how, and technical knowledge. The resource is heterogeneous, that is, acquired resources is different from what organizations have in the industry, and immobile which cannot be transported. So that is the thing which has to be developed. With respect to the type of resources, that is assets, includes both the tangible as well as intangible. The intangible organization's property and equipment, the patents, the organization's distribution network, as well as the information technology network system. In terms of intangible assets of the organization, it includes the trusted brand name, the knowledgeable workforce that they exist on the role, the robust organization structure, that is the entire setup, the hierarchical structure. The reporting includes the number of levels and the reporting system, line of commands, etc. And with respect to the organization culture, that is a broad term that we have already discussed, includes number of areas. In terms of capabilities in utilizing the assets, that is the skills, the expertise of the manpower, those who are working in an organization. Then the type of organization, job responsibilities, and differences in output, the final outcome. With respect to competencies, ability, it relates to the ability to perform by the experts in the field of strategy. The distinctive competencies, distinguishing itself from its competitors. The better understanding the resources available as the area of core competencies. With respect to the strategic importance of the resources that is available in an organization, that includes the physical resources, that is the materials, includes the raw materials, the semi-finished products, as well as the final or the finished product. The human resources, that includes the manpower at different levels, starting from the CEO to the workman. And the financial resources of an organization, that includes the what are the funding sources, debt, equity source, etc. And in terms of the intellectual capital, those who are present, the expertise, manpower, etc. And with respect to the threshold resource concept, it includes there is a continuous need to improve such resources in order to stay in the business and in order to face the challenges of the competition and the entry of the new market players, those who are entering as a new entrant from time to time into the industry. With respect to the unique resources, it critically underpins the competitive advantage in its ability to provide the value in its offer of the product and services, the value which is viewed positively by their target set of customers, and that is a result in win-win situation in the marketplace, because by that way both the sides, the producer and the seller, both will be benefited out of this. It also includes the people working in the organizations. If we discuss the concept of core competencies, it refers to the ability to perform, that is, the difference in the performance between the organizations is because of its resources that we have already discussed to manage all its activities as well as the processes that it undergoes as a system driven concept. Superior performance or the efficiency is decided by the way the resources are involved or the deployed. It creates and sustain ability to meet critical success factors of a customer group which is better than other and hence provide the ways difficult to imitate by the market players in the industry. A valuable asset capability can be assessed by testing the following areas. First one is, let us discuss about the scarcity. The resource value is known when it is available in limited quantity. And imitability, that refers to organizations' effort to limit imitation, like unique in its service or in its design, in order to have its uniqueness, strength, and also which is very difficult to copy. Durability concept refers to, it is a test to value the resources, capabilities, as well as the competencies as a strength of the organization. With respect to the concept of superiority, which is better than its competitors in resources with the following traits, because the comparison is always about the strength areas in internal factors. The concept of valuable, either by its cost advantage or by its differentiation through the innovative process or better technology in order to create a unique product or unique service features. The concept of rare relates to if it is unique in terms of nature and exclusive to the organization. Inimitable refers to if it is difficult to imitate or acquire the same by the competitors in the marketplace. If the resource is expensive or expensive to copy the same or need a specific knowledge, expertise knowledge to operate, built over a considerable time taken, investing huge amount of cost and time. With respect to the concept of organize, to know how to exploit or use, apply to its own advantage, a resource can be used to gain the competitive advantage with the appropriate structure of the organization. If you see this resource-based model, it clearly shows the resources of the organizations are of two different categories. The tangible, which is visible, whereas intangible resources, which is not visible but can be felt or experienced. by anyone. The resources that is heterogeneous in nature and it is immobile. It is valuable. The resources are rare and the resources are costly to imitate by others. And also the resources, they are organized in a proper way. And it leads to gaining competitive advantage for the company to by utilizing its strength and to gain superior profitability, better performance, higher than the industry average, and also win the mind of the target set of customers. And finally, it leads to the actional environment. If you discuss about the concept of critical success factors, to identify the relevant critical success factors of the business which contributes the organization's success in the marketplace and its sources like the industry characteristics, because every industry has got a typical characteristics. It relates to industry specific critical success factors for a better performance of an industry. As an example, if you take the airlines industry, the critical success factor depends on its fuel efficiency, the load factor, that is occupancy, and an excellent reservation system which is user friendly are very much critical. With respect to competitive position, the critical success factors also depends on a organization is decided by its relative position with respect to its competitors. The industry is known by its market players and their action. While organizations decide their positioning strategy with respect to product or market positioning, they always try to decide carefully how to place their offer in the positioning map that is the mind of the target customers. If we discuss about the retail industry, following are the critical success factors which are identified, the key areas, like the low sales as well as the administrative expenses that is incurred in the retail industry, the efficient distribution system, that is the logistics, the physical distribution in the total process from the point of production to the point of consumption, the reputation for the value, that is the value system as viewed by the customers, to which finally results in a win-win situation between the buyer and seller. The organization culture, which is a very broad term, includes a number of factors, that is the work environment, the employee welfare activities, that includes the value system, that includes the reward system, equal justice to all, irrespective of caste, creed, gender, etc. The norms that is followed, the level of understanding between the employees, etc. That overall decides the culture of an organization. And the top management turnover, the vendor relationships we have maintained for ensuring smooth supply of the items as and when needed. Then let us discuss about the value chain framework. The business with a number of linked activities, each one producing value for the customers. By adding the value, organization can change more, can charge more, and hence can gain a higher profitability. It helps to assess contribution of any organization in a business. So the value addition by different stakeholders is contributed at each and every stage of the entire chain. Value in its product, process, and services oriented towards the market requirement or the consumer requirement. The primary activities in the chain includes inbound logistics, the business operations is carried out, the outbound logistics, that is the finished product, handed over to the marketing, then the marketing and sales activities to reach the target customers in the geographical area through appropriate product branding strategy, through appropriate pricing strategy, innovation in promotion, as well as designing the entire channel appropriately. Then finally, the services, the level of service that is provided to the consumers before selling, during selling, and after selling. And this basic chain is being supported by the supporting activities, that is the firm's infrastructure facility or the status, the human resource management, that is the manpower, those who are involved in different levels to convert the input to the output, that is raw material to the finished product, and the procurement, that is the entire purchase process of the company. It is totally system driven and goes on one after the other steps in a sequential manner in order to ensure the quality procurement. Then the technology development, that is includes the level of technology that is being followed by the company to bring efficiency and cost effectiveness. These primary activities are supported by the secondary activities to make the finished product consumer oriented or market oriented. If you see the primary activities, it includes the inbound logistics, that is the material and inventory control system, the raw material warehousing, that is the store and stock that is maintained, is a scientific inventory process controlling the stock level of each and every items in order to control the cost of inventory. The operations, that is equipment productivity, it includes operations includes the automation of the production process, the effectiveness of the control system in order to improve the quality of the offer of product and associated service, as well as reduce the cost to make it competitive in the marketplace. The outbound logistics, that includes the efficiency of the finished goods delivery through the channel that is designed through the networking of the channel members at different level in order to reach to the ultimate user. And the warehousing, that is the stock and store arrangement, including the cold storage for the perishable products. Marketing and sales area as a primary activity includes the effectiveness of the market research, the innovation in promotion. The promotion mix includes, as you know, the advertisement, sales promotion, the publicity or the public relation, personal selling, direct marketing, word of mouth promotion, then the internet and mobile promotion. The evaluation of the alternate distribution channels in case of requirement, then the motivation and competence of the sales force through various promotion activities which is directed towards the sales force, the channel members, as well as the consumers. The image building activities that is carried out throughout the year as a part of the activity, and the market share, that is the target which of the management to achieve during the financial year. Service relates to the customer feedback or the improvement, the prompt redressal of the customer grievances, the warranty or the guarantee, that is policy of the company, and the service recovery. So how efficiently the organization takes care or handles the complaints of the customer. The support activity in the value chain framework, that includes the procurement, that is the sources of the raw material, the time, cost, quality, and the procurement procedure, relationship with the vendors that is maintained, then the human resource management as a supporting activity includes the effective recruitment policy, the training that is imparted, both internal and external training as per the training calendar and as per the training need analysis, the reward system of the company for the best performance to motivate, the labor relation they are maintained for a cordial and healthy labor functioning, the employee motivation practices, that is to encourage the employees for a high level of contribution and dedication towards the organization, and finally the job satisfaction. So is very much essential. With respect to the infrastructure development, coordination and integration within the various departments of the organization, the information system, that is the MIS, management information system, or the executive information system, or the operation information system, is maintained for bringing efficiency as a strength of the organization and as an input for decision making. Timely, relevant information always helps the top management for decision making in the interest of the organization and for the future of the organization. The quality of the planning system, the entire yearly action plan or the yearly plan is properly worked out. The technology development includes the various works activities carried out in the research and development center of the organization and its success, the laboratory facilities, equipments that is maintained to carry out various tests, the work environment inside the organization for improving the productivity of the employees, those who are functioning, and the technical expert, those who are contributing for the development of the functioning. If we see with respect to the perspective of the balanced scorecard are the financial, like the profitability or the growth aspects. With respect to the customer, it includes the areas like the cost effectiveness, cost competitiveness of the product, the approach of differentiation to distinguish its feature, qualities, attributes, benefits from its competitors, and the quick response of the service provider as a determining parameter of the service quality. Then the operations, that includes the product development, is a continuous process, and introducing new product, improving the existing product, that is product upgradation, demand management, balancing the demand and supply in the product and service marketing, order fulfilling, and with respect to the organization aspects, the concept like the leadership at the top authority of the management of the company, the learning, there is a continuous change, improvement in the skills before and after, the ability to change as per the changes taking place in the external environment. With respect to the comparison standards, an organization can study on industry norms, practices, and trends. Following are the few commonly used for internal analysis of the organization. The industry norms includes comparison with the agreed performance indicators. It is an average indicator. Historical comparisons includes, it relates to the comparison with reference to the previous year's performance of the company and approach for a continuous process of improvement. As rightly told, the term Kaizen in Japan. Benchmarking includes compare the performance with the target, the standard, best class. But if such is limited to competitors, is termed as the competitive benchmarking. But if best practices, regardless of the industry, then it is termed as the functional benchmarking. It provides motivation to the best performers. With respect to the SWOT analysis, to assess the internal as well as the external environment of an organization, and also to identify the extent to which the strengths and weaknesses are relevant and capable of dealing, exploiting the external opportunities in the marketplace from time to time with changes in the business. If you see the 2x2 matrix, the SWOT analysis diagrammatically, internal environment includes the strengths and weaknesses, whereas external environment includes the opportunities and threat. In terms of internal factor evaluation matrix, it is a strategic tool to evaluate the internal environment of the organization. It evaluates the strengths and weaknesses in functional area of the business, providing a basis for assessing the relationship in those areas. It involves the following 5 steps. First one is the list the key internal factors in 10 to 20 internal factors that decide the strengths and weakness of the organization, and then assign the weightage to each factor. The weightage will vary from 0 to 1. 0 is unimportant, whereas 1 is very important. And then next step is assign a rating to each factor. The rating scale, it will range from 1 to 4. Rating scale 1 refers to major weakness, 2 minor weakness. Rating scale 3 refers to minor strength, and 4 refers to major strength. Decide a weighted score by multiplying the weightage to the rating, and then decide the total weighted score, a sum of weighted score of each of the variables that is calculated. If we discuss about the summary of the internal analysis, in concluding remarks, understanding strengths and weaknesses of an organization comes through the internal analysis to respond effectively to the micro environment as well as macro level environment. It enables an organization to develop the capabilities as well as creating new opportunities. The managers should work hard in assessing the capabilities by using the critical success factors framework, the value chain analysis, as was discussed earlier, through qualitative as well as quantitative approach. Internal factor analysis is a strategic management tool used to evaluate the internal strength weaknesses of an organization. It helps the business to business identify and analyze the internal factors in order to make informed decisions and thereby develop effective strategies. Here are some of the key points to include in a summary of internal factor analysis. First one refers to purpose. The internal factor analysis, which aims to assess an organization's internal environment in order to decide its strengths and weaknesses. It focuses on factors within the organization's control that can impact its performance as well as competitiveness. Then identification of the internal factors includes the first step involves identifying and listing the key internal factors that influence the organization. These factors can include the resources, the capabilities, the processes, culture, leadership, structure, technology, and other internal aspects which is relevant to the organization's operations. Assessment of the strength in internal factor analysis evaluates the internal factors to decide the organization's strengths, and strengths are the positive attributes that give the organization a competitive advantage or contribute to its success. These can include the superior technology, skilled workforce, strong brand reputation, efficient processes, as well as the unique resources. With respect to evaluation of the weakness, the internal factor analysis also examines the internal factors to identify the organization's weaknesses. Weaknesses are the areas where the organization may be lacking or performing below its potential. These can include the outdated technology, inadequate resources, poor employee skills, inefficient processes, and negative brand perception. With respect to weighted rating, After identifying the strength and weakness, the internal factor analysis assigns weights to each factor to indicate their relative importance. The weights are typically assigned based on the organization's strategic priorities and significance of each and every factor in achieving its success of the and objectives. With respect to rating factor, internal factor analysis assesses the current performance of each internal factor on a rating scale, usually ranging from 1 to 5. A rating of 1 indicates the major weakness, while the rating 5 indicates the significant strength. The ratings reflect the organization's perception of its own performance in relation to each factor. Analysis and interpretation includes the ratings are multiplied by the assigned weights to calculate a weighted score for each factor. The weighted scores provide a quantitative measure of the overall strength or weakness of each factor. By comparing the scores, organizations can prioritize the areas of improvement or leverage their strengths to capitalize the opportunities. With respect to the strategic implications, the results of internal factor analysis guide the strategic decision making. The analysis helps organizations to understand their competitive position, decide the areas where they need to invest or improve, and identify the potential opportunities and threats. It provides insights into the resource allocation, capability development, and formulation of effective strategies. And with respect to limitations, it is important to acknowledge the limitations of internal factor analysis. The analysis focuses solely on internal factors and does not consider the external factors such as the market trends, customer preference, competitive forces. To gain a comprehensive understanding on the business environment, organizations should complement the internal factor analysis with external analysis like the pestle analysis or the Porter's 5 forces. SWOT analysis integration refers to internal factor analysis is often integrated with the SWOT, that is strength, weakness, opportunity, threat analysis. The internal factors identified in the internal factor analysis forms the foundation for the strength and weakness components of the SWOT analysis. By combining the internal analysis, the internal factor analysis with an external analysis of opportunities and threats, the organizations can develop a comprehensive understanding of their overall strategic position. And with respect to the comparisons with the competitors, internal factor analysis can be used to compare an organization's internal factors with those of the competitors by benchmarking against the industry peers or best practices. Organizations can gain insights into their relative strengths and weaknesses. This comparison helps to identify the areas where the organization needs to improve or differentiate its offer to gain a competitive advantage. In terms of long-term strategy development, the results of internal factor analysis inform the development of the long-term strategic plans. By identifying the internal strengths, organizations can leverage them to exploit the opportunities and gain competitive edge. Conversely, by identifying the weaknesses, organizations can develop the strategies to address the mitigate the same, minimizing the risk and enhancing the performance. With respect to resource allocation and investment, internal factor analysis assists in resource allocation decisions. The analysis helps organizations to identify the areas where they need to allocate the resources, such as investing in technology upgrades, training programs, infrastructure improvements. It provides a structured approach for prioritizing the investment based on the significance and impact of each internal factor. With respect to organizational development, and changes. The internal factor analysis can reveal the areas within an organization that need development or changes. By identifying the weaknesses, organizations can initiate the initiatives to enhance the capabilities, streamline the processes, or improve employee skills. It also highlights the areas where organization culture, structure, or leadership may need adjustment in order to align with the strategic objectives. Continuous improvement refers to it is a dynamic tool that organizations can use periodically to reassess their internal factors and track the changes over time. By conducting their regular internal factor analysis assessments, businesses can monitor their progress, identify the emerging strength, weakness, make necessary adjustment to their strategies and operations. With respect to decision support, internal factor analysis provides the decision support by offering a structured framework for evaluating internal factor. It helps decision makers assess the impact of the choice of the organization's strength and weakness by considering the results of internal factor analysis in decision making process. Organizations can make more informed and aligned strategic choices. An identification of core competency relates to internal factor analysis help organizations to identify their core competencies or distinctive capabilities. The core competencies are unique strengths or abilities that give an organization a competitive advantage. By analyzing the internal factors and assist in identifying and leveraging these core competencies to create value and differentiate the organization from its competitors. Alignment with the strategic objectives includes evaluate how well the organization's internal factor align with its strategic objectives, and it helps to ensure that the internal strengths and weaknesses are in line with the desired strategic direction. If any misalignment is identified, the internal factor analysis provides insights on necessary adjustment and realignment of the internal factors to support the strategic goals. Human resource planning includes internal factor analysis can aid the human resource planning and talent management. By assessing the internal factors related to the workforce, such as skills, expertise, and organization culture, organizations can identify the gaps, the talent, and the develop strategies for recruitment, training, development to build a skilled and motivated workforce. The risk and assessment and mitigation includes the internal factor analysis enables organizations to identify the internal factors that pose risk and vulnerability by evaluating the weakness and potential threats associated with the internal factors. Organizations can proactively develop risk mitigation strategies and contingency plans to minimize the impact of risks. Thank you for your patient listening.